Hi guys, it is Tammy with Cheers to Creativity, and I'm really excited to be here on the Essential Stencil page. And first, I want you to read my shirt. My shirt says, so many stencils, so little time. I have felt that way so much since I got the fall bundle. My mind has been spinning. What do I do? What do I do first? What can I, all of those fun things. So I'm gonna tell you, I start off with the idea, not knowing if my bundle was gonna get here in time, that I was going to upscale a window for you today. And then the bundle came, and I kind of got a little sidetracked doing some projects. I'm gonna see if I can see us on the page here so I can catch any comments. By all means, let me know when you pop on. Say hi. Love to know where you're watching from. You need that shirt. Hey, this is a shirt that you can get when you're a member of the Stencil of the Month Club. There are several exclusive items that are in the shop area of the Essential of the Month Club. So it's kind of another fun little bonus. But this is a perfect shirt for me because there are so many stencils, especially essential stencils, and there seems to be so little time. I see comments on my phone. I'm not seeing them on my iPad, but we will find them in time, I am sure. There we go. All right, so I'm going to show you something really quick, and then I'm going to ask for your opinion. And I've got a little project started to start us with, and then you're going to tell me if you want me to do some pillows, or maybe you want to see that upscaled window. I can't wait to see what you create today. Oh, okay, well, let's see. Okay, well, first of all, I want to show you what I created last night. And that was this banner. And this is one of the porch leader stencils. And I did this just on burlap. And it kind of got me thinking, wouldn't it be kind of fun to do burlap pillows to have like around the fire, not too close to the fire, but you know what I mean? Now, disclaimer, I'm a painter. I can stencil, I can paint. I'm not an all-around crafter. So when I show you this, don't laugh too much. But I thought you could take burlap. It's just 2 pieces of burlap, and then just with one of those big needle thingies that I don't know what they're called. They kind of look like this. They've got a big hole in them. And just take yarn or even twine, and you could make your own little pillows, or big pillows, or use a pillow form, which would be a whole lot easier. You want to see the upscaled window? Wait, just let me see. So they could definitely do one of the burlap pillows. And then I remembered I had purchased, why? I don't know, these bright orange pillow covers. But how fun is this one that says trick or treat? The bright, and if you can catch it, there's glitter on the letters. How fun, 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 fun. I'm going to show you real quick the idea I had for the upscaled window. So you have to walk with me. Cameraman is out of town. So I'm turning you. So this is the upscaled window I thought of doing more of a fall theme with a couple of the stencils that came in the bundle. So I'm going to take just a second to lift you up. Cute idea, Sharon, Cindy, hey, how are you guys? So do we want to see, you have the pillows, like the little pillow. The little pillow says cuddle, I love it. Okay, I'm going to do one pillow first, then we'll see where we're at with time, okay? So here we are on my side of the world. I think it was pretty good, but I didn't like trip over something and fall and whatever else. All right, I'm gonna leave my iPad so I can see it. And of course, we always appreciate very much if you could sprinkle the love. I'm gonna grab a water, not a water, but water so I can paint with, and we can get started. All right, so what I did for my burlap pillow is I cut a piece of burlap, or 2 pieces, bigger than the pillow I'm going to use. And then like I did here, my plan is to go ahead and go around it with twine or yarn and then fray the extra edges. Which reminds me, I decided to experiment on it and decided to make a little wine bag. So this one I just bent it over, hot glued it first to keep it together, and then I sewed the edges. But I think that would be a really cute way to present a bottle of wine or soda or whatever you do. And I love those two together, the gourd and oh my gourd, I love fall. I think that's super, super cute. So I'm gonna bring you down. See if I can see us. I can. I'm gonna have to turn me upside down so you're right side up. It's hard to do this way. Okay. There we go. So this is just my piece of burlap. I've got a board underneath it. Oh, this way, cuddle. And we're gonna pick up one of the new stencils. I think I'm just gonna do the Pumpkin Kissed and Harvest Wishes on this one. The very first thing I did with the set when it came, and I did post this on one of the pages already, there's one of those stencils has those 3 little pumpkins, and then there's also on the big one, which they have the leopard. I didn't use the stencil for the leopard, but I kind of used it as an idea. All right, we need to open our stencil. Now on the fabric pillow that I showed you, the bright orange one, I used fabric paint on it. You can also use regular acrylic paint and mix it with fabric medium. That would make it so you could wash your pillow or pillow cover in that case. Swiping left. Am I still backwards? I shouldn't be now. I am. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So let's do this. How about there? We should be right now. Where's my little sheet thing I use all the time? This should be able to read. There we go. We are right. We are correct. Thank you for sprinkling. We really do appreciate that. Okay, so this pack has Pumpkin Kisses and Harvest Wishes, and the other side says Thankful, Blessed, Pumpkin Obsessed. Much better. Yeah, I bet. I'd get confused too. So, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the stencil. Like I said, I have a board underneath here. Another thing that works really well for if you're using fabric or something is to cover like a cookie sheet with some freezer paper that you can then just rip off and throw away. That's very appropriate for me. So that's just a hard surface. Now, because burlap is holy, it will go through. That's why, like I said, if you use a cookie sheet to cover it is a good idea. Okie doke, we need a plate and something that we can offload onto and some wonderful essential stencil brushes. And we're gonna get started and just show you how cute this can be, okay? So I'm gonna be smarter than I normally am, and I'm just gonna tape this down to something so it doesn't move too much on me. I might be better off on my sides because I have a little more of that board. There we go. Essential Stencil might need to make us a stencil that says that. Yeah, cookie sheets when you're doing t-shirts, absolutely. Okay, so taking just a quick moment to look and say, so what colors do I kind of want? So I could either use fabric paint on this burlap. I'm not gonna wash the burlap. So I could just use regular acrylic paint too. It really, fabric paint really is more for something that you're gonna wash or something that's gonna be next to you that you want to be nice and soft. So just gotta consider those things. Other thing to consider with the burlap is the colors you use. So your yellows and straws are going to be a little hard to see. So just kind of up your color choice a little bit. So I think with that being said, I'm going to grab, and I'm using the fabric paint that's sitting right here is So Soft Fabric Paint by Deco Art. And this is a dark Hauser green, one of my favorite greens. Oops, maybe. Or should I just use regular paint? Those are pretty bright colors. No, I think we're going to. I'm changing my mind. Oh, you know what? I am Tammy Muto. I'm with Cheers to Creativity, and I am stepping in for Redeem Decor, who's usually here on Fridays. But sometimes they need somebody to step in, and I'm more than happy to do that. And we decided to use regular paint, so let's go ahead and just use regular acrylic paint. I'm going to use avocado then for my leaves. And I think I'll do those first. Those aside. And I'm going to think about my colors. So I'm going to do my vine and my leaves in green. I want my pumpkins to be white and orange. Of course I do. And we'll have a little brown or green brown for our stem. And I'm going to want my pumpkin and my thankful to be heritage brick. And blessed and obsessed, I think, is going to be black. So when I do that, I like to plan my colors for a couple reasons. One, I might be able to use my brush more than once. For instance, if I do my thankful and pumpkin in heritage brick, I can wipe it off mostly and still go ahead and go into black, and the black is going to show up over that. This is a very, very pretty stencil. Okay, so I know I can use a brush for that. I also know I said I wanted to do orange and white. So there's a canyon orange and there's an off-white for my pumpkin. And we'll just use the orange up there as well. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start light. I'm gonna start with my off-white. This is light buttermilk. I think what I really want is buttermilk. Any light color. You could go straight to white too. And this burlap is going to make your paint just a little different color too. So I'm offloading, always offloading, even when I'm doing this. Now, this is going to take a little more paint than when we're doing it on a board because I really want to cover it. But I'm still careful not to get too much under. And if I'm concerned about an area that I don't want to get, like if I really want to make sure I don't get it on this side of the stencil, I can just use a little piece of paper to block it. Same with my stem. Block it off my stem so I can get a little closer up there. Okay. And I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to clean it up pretty well. I'm using this on burlap, so I'm not using it on this fabric paint right now. I'm just using straight paint because I'm never going to wash this. I promise you I'm never going to wash this pillow. But if I was using fabric paint, I would be using So Soft fabric paint. That's my paint of choice. Oops, if I clean off my brush, I realize I need just a little more. I'm going to go with this Canyon Orange because I have it here. I thought what was really fun on the burlap banner that I did was I used a lot of the neon colors. So there's my orange, taking it off, kind of hanging on to those bridges. Oh, that's gonna be a bright enough orange for me. I think we should be good. To block off my white one over here. A little more paint. I use DecoArt Americana acrylic paint, DecoArt So Soft fabric paint. Love their dazzling metallics. Okay. Now I'm just going to peek. We're good. We're good. Well, I've got this orange in my brush. I want this guy up here to be orange. Do you swirl your brush when you're painting? I thought you were supposed to. It depends on what you're doing. For me, a lot depends on the design of the stencil. If there's a lot of little lettering, especially like say on those tag stencils that have a lot of detail, I tend to pounce more. It also depends on what you're painting on. So this being the burlap, I am swirling, but I'm being careful not to get underneath too much. I can come back, same brush, I'm gonna grab a little brown paint. Sure I am. Very little brown paint, or a lot. How do you correct an error when you spell a word you have on Buffalo Check? So you've made a mistake with the word? Let me think about that. So I can go up and down too. It all depends on the detail. Like I'm not gonna be able to see all the detail on this pumpkin, so I might need to come back and just add some extra detail with a liner brush, which is nothing wrong with that at all. I do a lot of hand painting with my stenciling. Yeah, that shows a little bit. So let's add a little brown here. So we'll just add a little extra texture to ours, or that guy too. I'm wiping my brush off. I'm gonna pick up a little brown, offload it. This has a little extra tammy hair on it too, if that's likely. And that's the color I'm going to swirl on for my stems. A little bit. And then I'm going to take and set that brush aside and put it in a damp paper towel, or excuse me, wrap it just so it doesn't dry out. And I'm going to go to my colors for my words. Let's grab a different brush, make sure it's dry. If you've been using your brushes and you need to use them again, and they're not quite dry, hit them with a blow dryer. That's what I did because I had played around this morning doing the oh my gourd, I love fall. So I needed to make sure this was nice and dry. So I'm going to use my, underneath the burlap, I have a board, just a scrap board. But I was saying you could use a cookie sheet. I'm swirling my paint, I'm still offloading it. And I said I wanted thankful and pumpkin. So I'll show you, I can do it up and down too. And you can see I lift it up, that you've got thankful. Or you don't have thankful, you have part of the words. And I do think part of that is you getting used to what works best for you. I don't do this things the same way as Melissa. Melissa doesn't do the same things as Amanda. We all have our own little take, and sometimes we find out something works better, and sometimes we experiment and find out they don't work so much. I made a mistake by using a wet brush and had a mess. Wet brushes are a mess. It's just paint, okay? So the far worst thing that can happen is you have to rebase coat and do it again, and just think of that as extra happy practice. If it's on wood, you can sand it off and start again. And I know that's not what we want to do. I mean, we all want our projects to be one and done and perfect the first time, but this is life, and life isn't always perfect the first time or the second time. And whenever those things happen, I like to think, you know, we can always use the Bob Ross attitude that they're not mistakes, they're happy accidents. Or if you paint with me long enough, you'll hear me say that there are no mistakes in life, only design changes. You know, sometimes our mistakes need more than just saying they're a design change. They need a little help to fix them. Let me see how this is looking. Oh, I like that color a lot. That is Heritage Brick. It really shows up nice on this burlap. Okay, I'm going to, like I said, clean my brush out the best I can. Another thing I can do to take some more of that paint out is, this is just a baby wipe. I can take some of it off on that and then make sure I go back with a dry, so it's nice and dry, but it just gets more of it off. And I'm gonna do Blessed and Obsessed in black. I am. course, I moved my black, but there it is. You love design change? Me too. My life is full of design change. Design change 101 today was I should be on a plane on vacation. However, some things changed. And I'm very fortunate my children and grandchildren live very close to us. And they are having new floors put in or having their floors refinished. And they can't be there and be on them. So they are here with me. So my design change is I have bonus time with my son, daughter-in-law, and grandbabies this weekend. So that's awesome. It's all how you look at it too. I could be all disappointed, but I'm not. You know what? I can reschedule a vacation. It's fine. And look, I get to be here with you today too. And that's always fun for me. We would love, love, love if you would follow us on our Facebook page, Cheers to Creativity. And we do lots of fun stuff over there. Every Tuesday, I do Tuesday tips, techniques, and teachings. Never know what it's going to be, but it's always something. We peek again, looking good. And then if you've got these stencils, make sure you're using them, make sure you're sharing them with us. If you haven't got them and this is inspiring you to get them, use Cheers, CHEERS, at checkout, and you will get a additional discount. And hopefully you have been watching and seeing that Essential Stencil has some other good stuff coming out. They've announced some rub-on transfers, so check that out as well. Clean up this brush a little bit. No, I'm not really good. I'm going to grab another one, just I want to make sure it's the right color. Have that. So this I said was avocado green. Swirling it, taking it off. Just gonna tap this little leaf up here. And then I'm gonna swirl. When you have little areas like this, it's helpful if you kind of hang on to them so they don't lift up. I want my leaves and my vine to be the same color on this particular piece. I do think burlap lends itself well to simpler designs. I don't think you would want to get too carried away. I even noticed when I was doing the lettering on this, it's a little hard to see. I mean, I think you can see it, but it's the texture of the burlap, so you have to realize what you're working with. If I did this on a piece of cotton that I turned into a wine sack, you would see that much more crisper. Crisper? Is that the right word? Yeah, more crisp. You know what I mean. Yeah, the burlap is a ton of fun and very inexpensive to work with. And like I said, I am not a general crafter by any means. I'm sure there's people here who would sew these up in a heartbeat. I'm not that person. No, I'm better at some things than others, and I have no problem admitting that. Where are we on time? Oh, good. We're going to be able to at least start our window, I think. So let me get this almost finished. And it is not quite as dry as it would be if I was working on wood because it is fabric and it's soaking some of that paint up. And that's one of the reasons you kind of want to make sure you look back and see if you're going to need to add a second coat anywhere. I do go back after our lives, guys, and look at all of our comments. It's just too hard to keep up watching it and kind of keeping up with what I think I'm doing. All right, did I get everything? I think so. Pumpkin, pumpkin, words. Okay, so let's see what we got. Thankful, blessed, pumpkin, obsessed. Now, you could very well take that second stencil in this set and do it on the opposite side of your pillow too. That would be kind of fun. That anytime you flipped your pillow around, you would be good to go. All right, very cute. So there was a whole lot of people who were interested in me doing the window. So I'm going to flip over to the window. I'm going to take my brushes with me, and we can see how far we can get on the window, okay? So I've got to flip a couple things, but we should be okay. Turning, turning. Looks like we need to go up. There we go. There. That should be correct. We'll wait and see what it looks like on here. All right, so this is a window that somebody gifted me as they were getting ready to do new windows in their home. And I just thought it would be fun to, there, how's that? Better? We seeing okay? Do a saying and then maybe do just a couple of the elements. So what I'm using for this project is this set that, does it have a name? All the fall feels. So there are 3 stencils in here. Fall is in the air. I haven't even opened this one yet. The burlap was really fun. I really liked the project a lot. So we have fall is in the air. All the fall feels, and hello autumn. And I think I'm gonna go with falls in the air. I've just put a piece of white. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see that very well. Well, maybe it's the black I should have underneath it. Real life, people. All right, sort of see it, right? Get the idea. So once I start painting, it'll be good to go. All right, so to prep a window like this, obviously you need to clean it. You can paint the frame if you want, or you can leave it as it is. When I'm painting on any kind of glass, I wipe it down with just rubbing alcohol before I get started. And that just helps remove any of the grime and grease and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna be smart, rather than normal. I'm gonna tape down my stencil so it stays put, because I have this elevated a little bit. And I am just ballparking where I think it needs to go. If you are a perfectionist, you would be using a ruler for this part. I must say having 12 different layers underneath me is okay, that would be my measuring tool for today. All right, so we got falls in the air, we got this little pumpkin. I want those, you know what, I really liked that red. Now, I'm going to be using regular acrylic paint. And that means that this will not be permanent unless I give it a coat of varnish over it, spray it, or something like that. I love to change windows. I have a front window for our front door that I change seasonally. In fact, it's past due to do that. And you can change them by just using a razor blade and soap and water and getting it off. If you wanted this to be permanent, you could use enamel paint. Glass is a little slippery. This is kind of like the word I like to use as you're painting. So you just have to get the feel for you. So, falls in the air. I'm going to use a combination of the sponges and the brush. I'm going to go ahead and start with the brush and see how it does. Make sure it's good and dry. I wouldn't pounce on this just because your stencil is going to have a more chance to be moving. And I do know that I'm going to want to give this more than one coat. So this is where lighter is better than trying to be heavy. quick coat for the lettering, and then I'm going to play with the leaves a little bit. I'm going to play with my leaves before I even peek. Okay, so I've just swirled that on. Let's see any comments. Someone said their husband breaks out every measuring device known to man. Yeah, we probably wouldn't be good spouses. Just gotta say that. Okay, I'm gonna grab some metallic colors. These are Dazzling Metallics by Decor. So I'm gonna grab Rich Espresso. I'm gonna grab some copper. Obviously some of my paints really need to get cleaned out. Set that one aside. We'll grab some gold and some green. Cranberry. I just like having a variety of the colors. It's throwing me off as some of my colors have the wrong color tops on. Of course. All right, so I've just got these mixed colors on my plate. These are all Dazzling Metallics. And for this, I am going to use the little sponge. And I'm going to start with a little green on my sponge. I'm going to pick up a little copper. And I'm going to let those two colors just kind of do whatever they want. And I'm going to hold this down, and I'm going to very lightly just stencil my leaf. Then I'm going to pick up another color. So the colors will all kind of blend. Don't forget to either offload on your paper towel or on your stencil first. Grab, let's go more red. I'm being very light. I want this darker green and I don't have it. Kind of a huge mess of this plate already. And they might change when I go back and add their second coat. But that's okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and do my pumpkin. And that pumpkin is an orange. I don't think I have a brush I can use for orange, so I'm going to grab a different brush. Here's my brush. And just go ahead and use that canyon that we have on our plate here. You know what? That's going to be really hard to see. So I'm going to stop. It's okay. So just going to let that dry for a second. While that's drying for a second, I'm going to give my letters a second coat. Before I do that, I'm just going to peek. So I got to be careful because I was kind of bleeding through my F a little bit, which means I had too much paint on it. So I really need to make sure I'm offloading. And I'm also not pushing down hard. A lot of times when I'm stenciling, I'm kind of doing more of a this. Can you see that my bristles are going pretty? When I'm doing it on glass, I am really just barely touching it. And now I probably should get something and wipe my hand off. Hey, there's always tools. Sometimes you're your own body, but there's always tools. What kind of paint are you using on the glass? Okay, I am just using the acrylic paint. But I'm doing this so that if I want it to be permanent, I can either spray it with a clear spray, like a Krylon spray, or I can, once it's completely dry, I can use a coat of varnish on it. The other thing with glass is it has to be dry before you give it a second coat or you will start to pick it up. going to see if I can show you. Yeah. We're going to let that be completely dry. So, hey, you guys are going to have to wait and see what it looks like in about 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to move down to the lower half. And I just thought it would be nice to have a couple elements of fall. So there's the acorn, here's a pumpkin. I have something, oh, I have, because I cut burlap. That's okay. So there's my acorn, there's my pumpkin, and here's a leaf. So for the acorn, I think we'll go with a straw color underneath and a brown on the top. I like my golden straw. If you wanted this to be permanent, you would use an enamel paint. And Decor does make a really good enamel paint as well. And it's called Enamel. So I'm going to use the sponge on this, tapping it off here. So I've got it nice on my brush, not my brush, on my sponge, and then still offloading. I'm going to tape this down. All right, and I'm going to do this in the lower section. Sometimes I think it is easier to use the sponge on glass. Again, if you are using a sponge, it is a light touch. It is not pounding on it. It is very light. I'm going to just pick up the brown with that same sponge. It'll be a little different color. The acrylic paint, if I needed to clean this off right now, I could just take a baby wipe or a damp paper towel, soap and water will clean it off. Or if you have a spot that's a little stubborn, you use a razor blade, and then before you go ahead and repaint it, you clean it off with rubbing alcohol. Okay, so we'll let that be while it's doing its thing. We will grab ourselves an orange. What did we do with our orange? This is the Canyon Orange. And grabbing a little sponge just to make my life a little easier today. Of course, the awesome things about working with the sponges is when you're done, you just throw them away or cut them off. All right, so and this has got those skinny little bridges. Oh, and you know what? I knew I made a mistake on the one up above, and I'm doing the same thing here. Because this is going to be very sheer, I can show you this in just a sec. I'd be better off actually doing my first coat with either something really dark or white, just so it has a chance to cover with less coats. Let's see if I can show you. It's just going to be really hard to see, but that might not be too bad. Okay, so I'm just setting that sponge there for a second. I'm grabbing a little sponge that I cut off. I don't need that much in. I'm going to take a little bit of my green and my leaf up here and here. You have to have a little more patience when you're working on glass. You can't rush this. If you try to rush through this, you're going to pick up the paint and it's going to be more challenging. I don't know how I got lost on more challenging. I said I love to change out our front window. I do that with a combination of stenciling and hand painting. In fact, I did one last December on the Essential Stencil page where we did I showed you the deer on my front window. That one was hard to take off, I must say. I really like that guy. Okay, so I'm just giving this a second coat of the brown. We'll go ahead and hop over to this leaf, and I'm going to start this one just by using a variety of the colors that are on my plate. I'll come back with some dazzling too, but I'm just going to go ahead and give it a little base coat of, what is that? I don't know what that was, but it's gone now. And I'll pick up a little light green that I have here. Remember, there's no mistakes, just design changes. And if I don't like it, I scrape it off and do it again. A little red. Give yourself some grace when you're doing these projects. It's not brain surgery, so chances are really good that no one's going to die. And if it just costs you a little more extra time to do it again, that's all it costs you. So once I've used my stencil or sponge like this and I still have things to do, I just take a scissors and cut it off and use it again because I want another coat on here. And why we're having a second coat, let's do a second coat on our orange pumpkin down here. And again, just like I said with the brushes, I have an incredibly light touch when I'm putting my paint down, even with the sponge, on glass. Okay, so we've got those going on. How are we doing? Okay. We're just going to go ahead and use our sponge on this guy up here because I think the sponge is covering better. The pumpkins I saw for some of the transfers that Essential Stencil has are really, really pretty. How would chalk paint hold up on glass? Yeah, I've used chalk paint on glass. I've used it with the intention of using a razor blade to get it off. The other option, another paint option, is a mineral paint like Fusion that is more permanent as well and doesn't require a top coat. So, I mean, there's a lot of options. Sometimes you just have to play a little bit. Because I was picking up with my brush, I think I'm going to go ahead and just use the sponge. Guys, I'm here to experiment and learn for you. Help you learn as I go. Because I really want to add a little something to fall, so I need this to be covered. And then, because windows are a little heavy, we tend to put a French cleat on the back of ours, and that really helps with hanging them. Those are something you can find in any of the hardware stores. They're called French cleats. They kind of hook together. One goes this way, one goes this way, and so when you hang something heavier on them, on the wall, it does a good job. Don't know what I was trying to say there. All right, so we're getting air in here. I had to decide what color this little swirly thing is going to be. I think I just decided. The Acorn pack has all these larger designs in them, and I think they're going to be really cute if you would, let's say, after you got done with the pumpkin, you went ahead and say, hey there pumpkin, and put it on top of it. That's a different package, but how fun to mix and match all these. I just think that's the best thing. Well, there's lots of best things about Essential Stencil. Okay, so remember I had that metallic-y plate going on. We're going to grab that metallic-y plate, and our metallic-y sponge that I don't know what I did with. And I'm going to do the same thing, but my colors might change. They're not all going to be the same as they were to begin with. But I'm going to lightly tap on here. And lightly tap a little one over here. And I don't have to hit all of them. And I can always come back and realign my stencil if I need to add more color or something. But I want to be able to show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to make sure I can see my fall is in the air. I can, because what I want to do, this is a Dazzling Metallic Champagne Gold. When I get on a kick, I get on a kick. What can I say? So I'm going to go back and one last time with the Heritage red that I had on there, but I'm going to mix some of this gold, tap it on my plate. You see there's a little bit of a shimmer there? So, and I'm just going to do it to fall, I think. Oh, I don't know if I can just do it to fall. I might have to do it to all of it. For now, I'll just do it on fall, and I'll pick up a little more of the metallic. I'm going to do it on this little swirly thing down here. Okay, need a little bit of brown for our stem. Make sure my orange is dark enough up here. I don't know where it went. We're going to come up with that metallic sponge that we had for our leaves. And our metallic paints. When you are using these sponges, make sure you are twisting your sponge around so you don't get too many of those lines. Another little tip for you. And again, it is super, super light. I'm not pressing down super hard. Oops, I don't want to do it all. That's good. We will find out momentarily. We're going to go over here. There's our acorn. It's not done yet. I've got something else for it. Here is our pumpkin. There's our leaf. Are we ready up here? I think so. Fall is in the air. I'm going to try to just use this so you can hopefully see. Fall is in the air. And then down here we have the pumpkin and the leaf and the acorn. Set this down for just a sec. And I'm going to come, and the top part of an acorn usually has little crisscross lines. So I'm just going to use a gold. And I'm just going to, wait, not, my hair is in there, of course. These don't have to be perfect. If I promise you, nobody is going to get close enough to your window or come up to you and tell you, that line is fatter than that one. And if they do, you have my permission to tell them that they're not being very nice. And the world is a much better place when people are nice. So I've just added a little bit. See the acorn? Just that little tiny bit. And then my last question for you before we finish up is, should I add extra words or not? So I could add the Hello Pumpkin by the Pumpkin, or I could add the, what else did we have? The thankful things. I mean, we'll just leave it as it is. I think maybe my son was right in that sometimes just having one thing to read is better. You could come back and add any, additional leaves if you wanted. If you wanted to pull some of the little leaves and have them sprinkled down, could certainly do that. But there it is for, you cannot see that at all. I'm so sorry. But fall is in the air, and our fall word has a little bit of glitter, metallic on it. Yes, you could add glitter if you wanted. And then down below we have the elements of fall. So that is about all I have for you for today. I hope you enjoyed our projects. I'm going to scooch over this way really quick so I can show them to you again. It's the roaming essential stencil. All right, let me show you this guy. This is the Burlap Pillow. Really is going to be very fun. I will fray the edges. And then I showed you it being done on just a regular pillow form. So this is Trick or Treat. That, of course, is one stencil. And then the long banner. Oops, here we go. Sorry. It has from the porch leader on it. And that I did with a lot of the neon colors and such. Again, we would love for you to sprinkle this to other people. Please follow us on Cheers to Creativity on Facebook and Instagram. If you use Cheers, you will be able to get a 10% discount. And when you order, so you can go ahead and order some stencils, you can treat yourself. I'm going to grab my iPad so I can tell you who our winners are. Essential Stencil is always so sweet and picks 3 winners at the end of our lives. So let me see if I can find them. They're usually great about pinning them to the top, so let me get to the top. I really appreciate all your kind comments. It's so fun. Oh, where are our winners? Congratulations to the winners. I am not seeing them. So the winners need to email Essential Stencil, help@essentialstencil.com, to claim their prize. I'm just having a tough time finding them. So if Essential Stencil, if you could post those one more time, I'd be glad to list those for you. Cute things. So hopefully you guys can all see the winners' names, and our winner, please email us at help@essentialstencil.com and they will get your prize to you. Thanks again so much for watching, and we hope that you have a fabulous weekend. I am certainly looking forward to mine with my kiddos and grands. We will be painting lots tonight. And when I finish that window, I will post it so you can see it here, and also again on our page on Cheers to Creativity. Cheers to Creativity. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.